Hey everybody, it's Tafony here once again, and I am rambling today about the Roland TB-03 bass line. It's the Boutique 303. I just want to say first and foremost, right off the rip here, before I even get to the disclaimers, that I'm no 303 expert. If you're here for what I heard in every video in quote-unquote researching for this one about comparisons with the original 303 or comparisons with the Behringer TB-03, whatever their not clone is called, or comparisons with the other 303 style synths. I'm not that person. I am no expert. I love acid sounds, but I'm brand new to this, so hopefully you have watched my videos before and you are here with me now for this one and you know what you're getting into. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. I'm not affiliated with Roland. This isn't sponsored by them. This video isn't presented by anybody. This is just my own ramblings, my own thoughts, my own opinions. This is my video blog about doing some hardware electronic music. I'm not here to be the journalist. I'm not here to sell this to you or present it or assess it or anything like that. I bought this with my own money. I'm just doing a rambling, as we say. More importantly than all of that, it sounds like this. All my thoughts in no particular order. 303 sort of inspired a big re-rack for me in my Eurorack setup because I enjoyed the hybrid of... I know there's 303 clones in the rack. Actually, when I said earlier that I have zero experience with 303s, I have some experience with like the Ericsson's bass line, which is supposed to be pretty similar, but the original thought I was trying to get out here was that I really like the setup of having my effects, having my sequencer, having my everything in the Eurorack case, which, you know what, just because we can, let's zoom this out here. Just to have it all in this Eurorack case, and then plopping down a revolving roster of hardware synthesizers in front because we can. I did that with this one first, and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, you know what? I know the usual workflow is to do the synthesizer as the modular part and then pair it with some DAW for your drums or a dedicated drum machine or stuff, but I really love this workflow of just like your voice in a box outside, be it this TB-03 or the Digitone 2 I picked up recently. Just like I don't know, just keeping the I want to have my samples, my drums, my stuff all in one portable central place with a form factor that I love, and then plop down some voice here. Now, I love how the 303 sounds, and I'm no expert with it. I have had a little experience with it, but I think we, you know, can have some fun exploring it together, because if you're watching my videos, I have a feeling that you're probably in the same boat, being presumptive. For all I know, and I hope you are, because I truthfully love acid music. Sorry, need to do a little mix in here quick. So, just for context, another recent switch up in my setup of sorts, I have the Bagar by Sauvage Engineering. I love that thing, that distortion, that 3 stereo channel mixer. Actually, I broke my drum, or sorry, let me rephrase that. I broke the kick drum out of the drum mix and giving it its own channel. So you have the kick on its own channel, then we're going to have the rest of my drum voices in another. Now 120 BPM is probably going to be a little slow for acid, but we're going to get there together. So let me just patch up some drums before we talk about this. I like that. And I have Data Bender on this too. And I like this switch up. If you've been following this closely, I kind of doubt you have been, but before I was running my kicks through this, and I like to glitch up the other pieces to this is a really fun thing in my mind. And without having to slice up my kicks too, so I'm still compressing, I'm still sidechaining the rest of it, but the kicks get their own channel, which is like super sweet in my mind. So yeah. Check. I just want to make sure my voice is still going. This might be a little too crazy. Yeah. Oh. Sorry, a lot of fun. Okay. Let's pause that for a second so I can do my babbling on. So there is a output on here. These are all 1/4 inch, and can I be totally honest with you, I watched a lot of the videos on this, and every video everybody repeated what Florian, and I love Florian, I love Bad Gear videos, but they all repeated the disdain for the 3.5mm jacks or 1/8 inch jacks if you are on the Imperial system. I like them. Like, I don't need an adapter to use with my Eurorack. I kind of like that and appreciate that. Is that sacrilege? I'm sorry. But yeah, I can just take my output direct into the rack. I didn't need to use an adapter. I liked that about it. Sorry. Now, I do not need my CV for this because in my biased opinion, the special sauce of the 303, I shouldn't say biased opinion, you can do whatever the heck you want. But in my biased opinion, there's 2 sequencer modes on here. There is like a totally standard step sequencer where you enter gates and pitches in one go. But in my mind, and what has been said a lot online, and I agree with, is that the 303 sequencer is sort of its own special sauce, meaning the sound is there, it's important, but if you want those acid glides, those sweepy, bleepy, yeah, right, we're doing science. But if you want to use, like, let's just do it. Like, the classic 303 sound is defined by that sequencer that everyone complains about, in my mind. I agree with people's opinions in saying that. And so, if I hit run, and we're going to enter 1/4 notes on everything here. We might find... Let me turn everything off, and then we'll just make sure we got our stuff going here. So I hit pattern select, we are going to hit play. We are going to hit run. We got trigger in. And I want to do a 303. So what we're going to do, we hit right, I believe. No. How do we do this? How do we do this, chat? Okay. Let's see if I can remember. We want to do pitch mode. No, we don't. We want to do time mode. No. We write by stopping, and then we hit write. No. How do we write, chat? I'm scared. Write. Mode. Write. Pitch mode. No. Time mode. No. We want to go to write. Pitch mode. Okay. So what we want to do, I'm going to stick to the black keys because it's a really easy way to stick to one scale for the clueless like me. But let's just do this. We want to do... So as you enter them here, yes, this really is a scientific. There's a 16-step sequencer, so you just go through and it'll show you what step you're on here. Like I said, there's another mode which I'm not going to be using. To me, the secret special sauce of the 303 is here, in that you have a pitch mode and a time mode. So your CV, your pitch, is separate from your time, your gates. So what we want to do is enter a bunch of notes. And you know what, actually, I'm going to do a little bit of C minor. So first step will be C. Second step will be D sharp. Then we'll go to an F. We're going to noodle back and forth. And very intentionally, scientifically, I'm just going to roll around in what I think would be pleasant there. So now we're going to switch over to time mode, and basically you want to switch between the accent, the slides, and doing your steps. So there's also a triplet here, which, if I remember correctly, you don't use it for here, but don't quote me on that. Honestly, I think I speak for a lot of people who might say otherwise, but a lot of the programming that's done here kind of looks like this. And then this all will sound like this. I'm going to boost this up to your rack level. Move this a bit. So yeah, that's how that works. If we go back in here, I'm going to do a little bit of a different one. So again, it's just pretty random, right? But what you can do is, because it's independent, you can switch back and forth, let your sequence run, and make changes. So I'm curious what this triplet button does. Must be hold, right? Because I'm done. Science. So if I just do single notes the whole time, it goes... Yeah, but we want to program in slides too, right? So if we do... Oops. Seems I programmed in some transposing as well, which wasn't intentional, but I'm here for it. We want to do accents, not slides at this point. Yeah, and you can switch to different patterns through this view. But we're going to stick to our first one. Now, I will say, as I feared before, you need to... there's a need for speed in Acid, so let's go up to like 140 BPM. 145. And let's do a little... I don't know, noodling, just to hear how this sounds. So this does sound a little major to me, so maybe we'll just go back into pitch mode and we'll go... Sticking to the black keys is usually a pretty safe bet. Yeah. So let's go back and pitch. And this is where you can do the transpose. So we'll just do up. So you know what, in that case, her mod isn't going to be enough. We want to bring our BPM up to 140, but then I'm going to use PAMS Pro to clock, multiply, just to get this going faster. No, doesn't sound very good yet, but we'll get there. Okay. Bring my kick in. And yeah, I don't quite love this yet, so let's just noodle a little more. Down an octave too low, I'd say, so let's... Yeah, that's better. So yeah, if you're here, you're probably more familiar with how this rolls than I am, but yeah, I'm just going to point out that like jumping octaves is like a classic bass thing, right? So one thing you can do is you'll go up an octave and jump steps so that you don't have to like enter through manually, if that makes sense. So just go up an octave here, skip a couple steps, go up an octave here. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So let's do some of that sound design stuff. I think there is actually a song mode that you can chain your patterns, or maybe the idea is you just manually stir in these knobs. For me, like, my usage of the 303 is kind of like this, right? And as I've said in other videos, I think like my favorite envelope or subtractive synthesis stuff is to like do a pretty hefty cutoff and then use your envelope to sweep it, because if your filters don't have motion, they're just weird EQs. And the classic 303 is the distortion into this. I believe this is bandpass filter, so we just want to go in and do some distortion. Here's no distortion. Let's bring in some more envelope. Just want to hear the frogs. What did Alex Jones say about the water and the frogs and the getting demonetized? It's just so fun to like have a simple arpeggio running here and then noodling with these, right? So let's make our decays super short. And then we'll bring in some overdrive. I do find when you crank the overdrive, it scoops some low end. So I try and not max it as much as I really want to. But sometimes I just, like, cranking the resonance can have more of the effect that I am after here. Yeah, it's like bread and butter 303, right? And then there's a delay on here as well, and if I remember correctly, it's a little unexpected in a fun way. So bring up a little more overdrive first. Then you have time. Just yet. It just stops a little short of being reverbs though, which I wish it got into that reverby territory of just like being so short and feedbacky that it's smeared, but that's alright. I like, there's a glitchiness here that's fun to like perform too. I'm sure that's just a weird tafony thing, but you know what? That's why we're here, I hope. Okay, switch tracks. I might not actually have other... Oh yeah, I got some other stuff that I wrote here, so let's hit play. Yeah. forgive that kick's probably getting super annoying at this point, but so yeah, we've been running in the, hold on, let's change our kick up a little bit. Just for fun. So we've been running in the saw wave this whole time, or maybe that's a ramp wave. Sometimes it's hard to know the difference, and it's not super important here, but you can switch to the square wave. I don't know, I just, to paint a really broad stroke, I just like the saw wave better. I don't know, let's hear it. Let's go back into my first one just so you can hear a direct comparison. Here's a little less distortion. Let's do a hair of delay. So here's saw, square, saw, square. I don't know, they're not even that different, honestly. Like overdriven into that filter, you know, pretty simple waveforms. I just find that, like, for that reason, I just stick to the saw. I don't know. This has a little hairier to my ears. Okay, that sounds really major, so let's go pitch mode. Right, pitch mode. Oh, interesting, when you scroll through it, it plays. So we can hear what our pitches are doing. Play that. I'm going to cut this off a little bit. Yeah, I like that. No, I didn't do any accents, so we're just going to cut that. That's okay. I feel like the classic. Bring my kicks in a little bit. Bring in a little distortion overall, and then a little bit of reverb overall. Bring my other. Cyber grind. My voice ran through the reverb. I didn't mean that. I won't talk. Should put some lyrics in here. Yeah. Oh, I really like that. Sorry, the reverb. Go to the square wave. All right. Let's turn that reverb off. Yeah, Friday night, I want to have some fun with the 303. I'm no expert with it, but I really appreciate anyone who watches these videos. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy our time together, and I know I do. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Tafony. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.